Action.
There's just really chaos on the water at this point.
Danger.
And she's your captain, and she's fearless, and you gotta be fearless too.
Adventure.
Next thing I know, my sailor is diving into the ring, and the crowd is getting louder.
You're listening to Sea Story.
Episode 22, Port to Port, a 3-part story.
Hi, this is Lieutenant Commander Mark Rentschler. Been in the Navy coming up on 28 years, and I have a lot of advice for a lot of the young sailors out there. You're going to see awesome places when you deploy. You're going to go all over the world. Let me tell you something. A bar in Naples, Italy looks the same as a bar in Norfolk, Virginia, San Diego, California, Bremerton, Washington, Mayport, Florida. They're all pretty much the same. What you need to do is you need to get out and see the world. Think about this. You're 18, 19 years old, go on your first deployment, you get back, friends are going to say, hey, what'd you do? Are you going to tell them, oh, well, I hung out in all these cool bars? What fun is that? When you tell them that you went up to Rome, you went to the Colosseum, you went to the Sistine Chapel, you went to St. Peter's Basilica, and tell them about what you saw there, that's going to make an impression. That's something some of your friends and relatives may never get to do. The Navy's paying for you to go to all these places. Life is all about experiences. Use the time that you have in the Navy, where they send you, to experience things.
Chapter 1, Djibouti.
My name is Nasir Pringle. I'm a second-class engineman in the United States Navy, and I'm from South Carolina. And this is my sea story. I'm going to take you guys to a deployment in 2016 when we went to a Mediterranean tour. I want to talk about the trip to Djibouti, Africa. We got to go off and help the local community out here in it was more of a desert type terrain. We basically went out there on the trash pickup to the valleys. It was like no water to be found. So we just walking, picking up trash, helping the locals, and finally we get to this oasis-type cave. It was like inside of a mountain. So everyone took their shoes off, and then we just started swimming. The water was so clear. Without goggles, glasses, or anything, you can just look in the water and see all the different like fishes and all that stuff like that. We're just thinking that this is it. Taking a little swim session in this little pond. And then the guys signaled for us to keep going. We're going down this little river of some sort. It almost seems as if we were swimming underneath land. It was kind of like this little tunnel, and it's probably like a 10-second hold your breath type tunnel. Once we got through that tunnel, it was like a whole different world. The water was clear blue or whatever. It had like a few waterfalls in there. We also got the chance to actually climb up on the rocks and jump off into the pool with everyone clapping. The locals were showing us a few of their tricks, you know, flipping off the rocks inside of this. And mind you, all of this is inside of a cave. It was beautiful. I never thought that I would actually go to a real-life oasis. I joined to travel the world and help other people. It's fun to say that you could go across the world and not only travel, but help others and also have fun doing it.
Chapter 2, Jordan.
My name is James Verges. I'm from Fremont, California, and this is my sea story. So, February of 2017, my deploying team left, and we've been to Jordan. That was humbling, seeing the lost city of Petra. Kind of satisfied that thirst for knowledge, considering it was one of the wonders of the world. I just see these old buildings carved inside, like, and the historian telling you about it. Like, you feel like you can see the people living here, how it'll work, how it functions. The bus right there is ridiculous. So you start from the pier. You drive along the side, it's like an oasis. Like everything by the water was green and lush. And then when you look further out, it just goes dead and barren. When you're going through the hills, it's like pretty boring. It's kind of hot, like very Indiana Jones desert looking. And as you're coming up to the city, you see like this commercialized area as you're going down the hill, and you keep winding down this hill until you start with this parking lot. And you pay for admission to the ticket, and you hike down like into this mountain. Like you literally go into this mountain, and you see rocks that have been carved by the wind and sand, like making those intricate colors, like layered sandstone and reds, pinks, yellows, browns, and like trees growing out of crevices in the craziest of places. And as you're walking through this beautiful rock place, you know, just taking pictures, it's the cool breeze is coming through, like you're feeling yourself. It opens up into like the first building that you see, which is the most popular portion of the city of Petra, is this tall, cut-in building into the wall. Like you see like the griffin and lion on the right, and another statue on the left, and it's in such articulate detail. So Petra will forever be a favorite of mine. Deployment everything is times 10, kid you not. So when you have those good moments, you really soak them in, and that's when you really find value on what is good and what's necessary and what's the important things in life.
Chapter 3, Utah.
This is Kyle Young. I am originally from a small town just outside of Philadelphia called Chalfont, Pennsylvania, and this is my sea story. My first duty station, aside from all of my schooling, was Assault Craft Unit 4, which is based out of Joint Expeditionary Base Little Creek. I was assigned there as an electronics technician. Basically, a float training group comes along and makes sure that everyone's doing their maintenance properly, and I had 2 spot checks with the same person. So I ended up going through both my spot checks with this chief, and he ended up highly recommending me because I was able to prove to him I had done everything correctly within about the span of half an hour. Apparently that blew him away so much, he recommended me to my chain of command. My chain of command obviously took notice of that because being a very junior, in fact the most junior person at the shop at the time, that was a huge deal. I don't know why they were taking me away to the hangar bay. They didn't tell me I was going to be there to actually receive an award. We ended up going on a trip to Salt Lake City, Utah. Now this trip to Salt Lake City, Utah, I did not pay a dime for it. I was selected to go out there to Salt Lake City for the Department of Defense Maintenance Level Awards. Obviously this is a huge honor for me. I've only been in for about 2.5 years in total. And so naturally I was a little nervous about it, seeing as I was going to be going with my captain, my new commanding officer, the maintenance officer, a lot of high-ranking officers, a lot of more senior enlisted chiefs, and then there's just ET3 Young tagging along with them. It was probably some of the best 2 days of my life. So we went out to Salt Lake City, Utah, and if you've ever been to Salt Lake City, Utah, it is a beautiful little city, and it's basically in the middle of a crater surrounded by mountains. And of course we went in December time, so it's all covered in snow, very pristine looking. And of course we had a little bit of free time before we had to be ready for the ceremonial dinner and the practices before it. So myself and an HT3 decided we'd go climb a mountain.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful.
We were about 6,000 feet up in the air, looking out across beautiful snow-covered vistas, looking down at Salt Lake City itself, and then the Salt Lake way off in the distance, and it's one of the most beautiful things I could possibly imagine. Something I never certainly imagined being able to do, especially so early in my career, and I never pictured I would be sent to Salt Lake City as part of the Navy. I never thought joining the Navy I would ever have the chance to go travel somewhere like that for free. I had never even considered that. And now because of that, it's opened my eyes up a little bit about seeing, you know, what else is out there, what's over that next hill.
Sea Story is brought to you by America's Navy. Learn more at Navy.com.